Okay, hi, this is Will again with the Village Market Simulator. This is an update from the last one. What I wanted to do was go back to a really old simulation I did probably about 8 years ago, where I made a little thing where you can create a little economy like this. So you can move around these guys, add more of them. These guys would be people who are exporting their services to this local city here. These foreign retailers don't buy anything locally, they just take money and use it to restock in the local city. And these are different forms of like local producers, local service providers, local retailers, be like teachers, carpenters, and like local shops that do buy things locally. And so if there is employment, money comes from the city and feeds this network, and there is this cross circulation, and the economy does quite well. You can speed that up, slow it down. When that stops, when there's a down season or there's a problem in the economy, all of a sudden this local economy can just die. And so that's what's just happened there. And so what we have been talking about in the last few episodes is introducing something called pools. So instead of producing a community currency and kind of assuming people are going to accept it for various reasons, what we do instead is that we go in and we purchase or work with community groups to seed pools, and what that means is that there's a common pool of resources that holds commitments for resources, and those resources are the goods and services of the local community. So if we add a pool in here, we can see that these four guys, all have credit within each other. So this is a pool that's holding four different commitments in it. Think of it sort of like an exchange or a bank where these guys can exchange their resources in for the resources of the other folks. And so if they did trade with each other, if they do want to exchange with each other, they now have some credit. And there's a max limit to that credit, and then trade has to come back the other way. And if we expand this out, or if we add the economy back into that, we can see that we can get back to the same economy it had before. People can use the currency if they prefer it, the national currency, more. And if the economy stops, well, these local networks can still survive. So you can see there's a lot more trade going through. Also, national currency can go through these local networks. So eventually it's more efficient to keep these local networks alive. And the local networks can actually grow as well. So if we increase right now the size of the population here, and we're just going to randomly do this, and we add a mycorrhizal like growth algorithm to these pools. So we imagine the pools are a bit like a mycorrhizal fungi, so they're storing resources so that they can be exchanged throughout the network. So we can imagine like all of these are plants, and these are the root connections, the mycorrhizals that are connecting their root masses together. So if we go ahead and allow that to happen, it starts growing this network. And so this is kind of like what we imagine might have been happening in indigenous or pre-monetary economic systems, where there are commitments moving across a whole clan structure, and different groups are doing this kind of resource coordination practices, also called rotational labor associations. And so you can see this thing kind of this sort of life form, if you will, growing across this network. The national economy can still come into this. We can add it back in, and things can just continue and continue. Eventually, this thing is going to span out over the entire value network if there are reasons for these pools to form. And so we can let this keep growing for a little while, and then we'll slow it down and look at where kind of the hot spots are. So I think that's expanded out to the whole size of the network. So now we can look at where things are going and what's going on. So we still have salaries coming in. People are able to buy stuff, but every once in a while the economy is going to shut off, or people are going to lose their jobs, and there's still this ability to interconnect. And the more interconnected this network is, there's routes between everyone, and so you don't just have to have a pool between you and your nearest neighbors. As long as there's pools that connect that neighbor to the next neighbor, transactions or exchanges can route through those pools. So this is a network of local voucher systems. It's really like a network of mutual credit systems all put together as well. And yeah, hope you like that. It's fun to play with. You can download the source code. It's all open source. And I hope to get a web version of this up soon. So have a good one.